clase de 2023, class of 2023. You will be culminating, your child will be culminating this year. Su hijo y hija van a estar culminando este año. Es un año muy especial. Muchas gracias por estar aquí con nosotros. Thank you so much for being here. Ahora les voy a presentar al señor García, que les va a dar información de cómo vamos a tomar atendencia. Go right ahead, Mr. García.
Gracias, señorita Ybarra. Muy buenos días, familias. Yo soy el señor García, el coordinador de padres de la escuela. En un momento voy a poner el enlace de asistencia en el chat. Si lo pueden completar en cuanto ustedes puedan, por favor. Va a ser la manera en cual nosotros vamos a tomar asistencia. De nuevo, si pueden completarlo en el chat lo antes posible. Muchas gracias. So, families, I put the link for the attendance in the chat. If you could please go ahead and complete it as soon as you can. That's going to be the way that we're taking attendance for today.
Muchas gracias, señor Garcia. Thank you so much, Mr. Garcia. Okay, families, so this is a little bit, we adjusted the agenda again to meet the needs of our families. Ajustamos la agenda un poquito para asegurar que estamos respetando su tiempo, especialmente para las familias que estuvieron con nosotros. Entonces, esta agenda lo voy a decir verbal. Para empezar, obviamente, nos vamos a introducir, darles la bienvenida. Vamos a dar fechas importantes. Ahora, para las familias que estuvieron con nosotros ayer y no hicieron su cita para traer la carta de emergencia, el señor Alvarado, una vez que ya empecemos con la presentación, nomás díganle un mensaje y él le va a dar su cita, ¿ok? So families, again, we're adjusting our agenda a little bit to meet the needs of our families, especially for those that were with us yesterday. We're actually going to share 8th grade important dates at the beginning. We're obviously going to welcome you. And then what we're going to do is that if you were here with us yesterday and you have not set up your appointment for the document drop-off, because we are asking that all families submit a new emergency card, Mr. Alvarado is going to put you in a, just let him know or send him a message in the chat. And then he will put you in a breakout room and he'll be able to give you your appointment, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and switch that up. Again, that's only if you were here with us yesterday and you weren't able to get an appointment, or you might have left a little bit earlier, okay? So let's go ahead and get started. Vamos a empezar, familias. Vamos a tener oportunidad para hacer preguntas al final. Entonces, sí les pido que por favor tengan algo con quien escribir o pueden poner su pregunta en el chat, porque es mucha información, especialmente si no estuvieron con nosotros ayer. So families, it's a lot of information. There are some new changes in some of the policies, and so I encourage you to jot down your questions or put it in the chat. But we are going to have a Q&A session at the end to make sure that we meet your needs and give you an opportunity to ask questions to make sure we clarify any of the information that we have. Again, one last thing, families, is that we are going to be recording this meeting because there are going to be some families that were unable to attend. And so we want to make sure that they're able to get the information. So here we go. All right. A little bit about our AEO virtual family meeting guidelines. Everyone's going to have their microphones muted because we want to make sure everyone can hear. Again, type your questions in the chat. We are going to have a Q&A session at the end. Families, I ask that you keep your questions at the end based on the information that we had. If it's something more personal about your child, I'm more than happy to set an appointment or give you a call, whether it's me, Ms. Otero, or Mr. Vaughan. We're here to help, okay? We want to remain positive at all times. I know there's a lot of emotions. It's the first day of school. Your child is in 8th grade. But again, we want to make sure we give everyone that's here enough time to ask their questions as well. We're going to do everything possible to respond to your questions. And then we're also going to give you our emails at the end. So familias, un poquito de lo que vamos a seguir para asegurar que respetamos el tiempo de todos. Para empezar, vamos a tener los micrófonos en mute, silenciados, para asegurar que podamos escuchar. Y también vamos a tener oportunidad de hacer preguntas al final. Especialmente porque hay personas que no han estado en esta presentación. Queremos asegurar que en ese momento estas preguntas son basadas en información que está presentada. Si es algo personal de su hijo o hija, más privado, con todo gusto y con todo corazón, la señora Otero, yo o el señor Vaughan, podemos llamarle, hacer cita para hablar de sus preocupaciones o una duda que posiblemente tiene personalmente de sus hijos. Vamos a hacer todo lo posible para responder a sus preguntas. Y también vamos a dar nuestros correos electrónicos al final, porque a veces lo que pasa, quizás piensan de algo diferente al final y no tuvieron oportunidad de preguntar. Ok. So, otra vez, bienvenidas. Gracias por estar con nosotros y felicidades en llegar al 8 grado y a casi en la culminación. So again, families, welcome. Thank you for being here. And an early congratulations to all of you because your child will be culminating this year and it's a very exciting year. For new families, I'm Miss Ybarra, the principal. Most families are not new, but welcome to our school. All right, families. So first day of school and Astros, because I do see some Astros that are here, August 15th. Okay, primer día de la escuela, 15 de agosto. When you see this date, Astros that are here, if you're here with your parents, you can totally put your emotion, your word in the chat. When you see this date, what is an emotion that you feel? Familias, cuando ven esta fecha del primer día de la escuela, ¿qué es la emoción que sienten? So, si me hacen el gran favor que pongan su palabra en el chat. So, families, if you can go ahead and go to your chat and just jot down your emotion that you're feeling. Astros, I encourage you to do it too, loves. Like, as 8th graders, what are you feeling, loves, when you're coming for the first day of school and you see that date? Are you excited? Are you nervous? Nervous but excited, yes. Felicidad, sí, señora Carrillo. Happy, right? Thinking that your child's going to graduate. Sí, porque en un abrir y cerrar de ojos pasa, ¿verdad? What are some other emotions? I don't know if there's some Astros, some 8th graders that are with us. They're probably asleep, right? Nervous, yes. Bueno, familias, el propósito de ahora, the purpose of our time today, families, is to make sure that we answer you're excited. That's good. It's the last year of middle school. It's a huge deal. Es el último año de secundaria y en menos de 9 meses van a estar en la preparatoria, ¿verdad? Entonces entiendo todas las emociones. The purpose of today, Astros, those of you that are with us, is to make sure that we answer your questions about the first day of school so that you don't feel nervous and give you the information that you need to start strong, okay? So, familias, el propósito de ahora es asegurar que les damos toda la información necesaria para que tengan éxito sus hijos el primer día de la escuela y obviamente tener un empiezo fuerte y que estén feliz, pero también responder a sus preguntas y calmar un poquito esos nervios que tienen. All right, ahora les voy a dar otra fecha, okay? ¿Listos? I'm gonna give you another date. Ooh, what happened here? Hold on. You've already seen me. Give me a second. Let me fix this a little bit. My apologies. It's been a day of like technical difficulties, Astro. So thank you so much for, I don't know what just happened there, for being patient with me. Give me a quick second. All right. I'm going to show you another date. I'm changing the order here a little bit. All right. So let me go ahead and do this. All right, here we go. I'm going to show you another date. All right. Let me share my screen. My apologies. All right. Second. All right, here we go. Now, when you see this date, class of 2023 culmination, June 15th. That right now is the estimated date. Culminación, clase de 2023, 15 de junio. Por ahorita, esa es la fecha de la culminación. Esta fecha tiene diferente significado. This date has such a different feeling, right? Now, families, when you see this date, what is the emotion that you feel? Astros, when you see this date, what do you feel when you see this, the reality of your culmination? Familias, si por favor pueden escribir su palabra en el chat para ver cómo se sienten ver la realidad de esta fecha. Go ahead and type it in the chat. We'll give you about a minute. Happy, feliz, nervioso, happy, that's good. A smile, emotional, yes, this is your baby. They were in kindergarten when you closed your eyes and you opened your eyes, ¿verdad? Abriendo los ojos y estaban in yes. And as Astros, Estrella said happy. Hi, Estrella, yes. You're usually happy here. And sad too, because nos da tristeza también porque hemos estado juntos 3 años y luego se nos van, ¿verdad? Yes, they're growing so fast. You will have a high schooler in your house. If you don't have other children, you will have a high schooler in your house in about 9 months or so. So en unos meses van a tener un alumno si no tienen otros niños, que está en la preparatoria. Ok, última fecha que les voy a compartir y luego vamos a seguir con la presentación para las familias que estuvieron con nosotros ayer. El 22 de septiembre, familias, vamos a tener una noche de padres solamente para los de 8 grado, ¿ok? Vamos a repasar el acuerdo del 8 grado, vamos a repasar eventos, vamos a repasar los apoyos académicos y también vamos a dar información sobre la camisa del 8 grado porque este año queremos celebrar a nuestros niños más. We want to celebrate our kids more. So the students, los alumnos van a poder usar su camisa de 8 grado mucho más pronto que el año pasado. So families, another important date that I want to share is we're having an 8th grade parent night on September 22nd at 4 p.m. No estoy segura si va a estar en persona o en Zoom. I'm not sure if it's going to be on Zoom or in person. We got to kind of see how the COVID cases are. But during that time, we need parent and we need a student here. So padres, esta es una noche para padres y alumnos, okay? No es separado, tienen que venir juntos. So we're going to go over the 8th grade agreement, 8th grade events, 8th grade academic checks and supports, other celebrations. And we're also going to provide information about the 8th grade shirts because this year, 8th grade students are going to be able to wear their 8th grade shirt much sooner than other students. Okay, so we want to make sure we get that information to you, give you as much information as possible. Cuando sus hijos están en el 8 grado, familias, van a tener más juntas. So just be aware, families, that when your child is in 8th grade, there's actually more parent nights because we want to make sure that you know that your child is on track to culminate. Queremos asegurar que todos están seguros que su hijo va a culminar, entonces va a haber, no solamente va a ser esta junta, va a haber más, no solamente va a haber, también hay otros días de premios, ¿verdad? Para los de 8 grados. So, el 22 de septiembre les vamos a dar más fechas de 8 grado y más información. So on the September 26th, please make sure to join us. If you can't, have your child attend with an adult that lives in your house. And we might even do it both. I know there's parents that work so that way you can join us via Zoom, even if you can't physically be here, if it's in person. All right, families. So con eso, familias, en este momento, si usted estuvo con nosotros ahora y no hizo la cita para traer sus documentos, por favor, pónganle un mensaje al señor Alvarado en el chat para que les dé la oportunidad de hacer su cita. So families, if you were with us yesterday at this time, and you can go ahead and have a beautiful day. Thank you so much for joining us. The rest of the information is going to be exactly the same. Or if you did not receive a meeting, a appointment for your document drop-off, please let Mr. Alvarado know in the chat, and he will give you an appointment. Yes, have a great day, those families that joined us yesterday. I'm going to stop sharing for a moment. And yes, si por favor pueden poner que necesitan la cita, vamos a ahora entonces empezar del principio para las familias que no que estuvieron con nosotros, okay? So let me go ahead and change that. Thank you for your patience, families. Muchas gracias por su paciencia. Okay, ahí vamos a empezar. Hoy ha sido un día de dificultades técnicas, pero aquí andamos. We gotta push through. Okay, familia, so, ¿cómo sabemos la salud y de sus hijos es prioridad? Salud y seguridad. Obviamente la pandemia no ha parado, okay? So families, the well-being of your child, health and safety is of utmost importance at AEO. And we know that the pandemic is not over, okay? So we wanted to, sí quiero decir, familias, a todos se les va a dar una cita. Si necesitan una cita ahorita, es porque ya estuvieron en la junta ayer. Si no estuvieron en la junta ayer, les pedimos que se esperen hasta el final para su cita. Pero si sí estuvieron en la cita ayer, la junta de ayer, agarren su cita ahora. So families, if you were not in the orientation yesterday and you haven't seen this information, we actually ask that you wait until the end to set up your appointment. However, if you were with us yesterday, please make sure to let Mr. Alvarado know, and he'll give you your appointment immediately. All right, here we go. So families, we're gonna go ahead and continue with screenings. We're gonna do temperature checks. We're encouraging families to make appointments when they're doing document drop-off as part of our screening and protection process. So familias, vamos a continuar con tomar la temperatura, también hacer el screening de COVID, y también estamos pidiendo que cuando puedan hagan cita para traer documentos o cosas hacia la escuela, simplemente para evitar mucha gente estar aquí en la escuela y mantenerlos seguros y sanos, ¿ok? Eso no es diferente de lo que era ayer. Ayer, el año pasado. Ahora, for this one, I'm actually going to go ahead and let Ms. Otero say hello. Ms. Otero, if you can go ahead and do this one in Spanish. And I believe Mr. Vaughan is joining us as well. Can you go ahead and take this one in Spanish? And Mr. Vaughan, if you can take it in English, that would be great.
Awesome. Good morning, everyone. Actually, why don't we do English and then Spanish? Is that okay, Mr. Vaughan? You want to do English and then we'll do Spanish?
Yep. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to our new families and also our returning families. Just a quick reminder about face coverings. We still are requiring face masks all day inside the building. We highly recommend surgical masks. And if your student ever needs one, we do have them in the front office. Those are the same ones as last year. That has not changed. So face coverings must be worn by everyone on campus, regardless of vaccination status. And they need to cover the nose and go under the chin snugly.
Thank you, Mr. Vaughan. Good morning, everybody. I'm Ms. Otero. Gracias, Mr. Vaughan. Buenos días a todos. Soy Ms. Otero, una de las subdirectoras. I'm one of the assistant principals. I'm going to now give the translations. Mr. Vaughan will do English and I'll do Spanish. En cuanto a las mascarillas, okay. Estamos todavía requiriendo mascarillas para todos los que entran al plantel escolar, especialmente cuando estamos adentro. Entonces, adentro de los pasillos, adentro de los salones, todos tenemos que usar las mascarillas. Ahora mismo no tenemos la mascarilla porque estamos en nuestras oficinas con la puerta cerrada y estamos solos. Pero adentro del plantel se requiere el uso de mascarilla. No importa si tenemos la vacuna o no. También la mascarilla debe tapar completamente la nariz y la quijada o la barbilla y debe quedarse justo a la cara.
Muchas gracias. Thank you so much, Mr. Vaughan and Ms. Otero. Okay. Just a quick question, tech check. Ms. Otero, Mr. Vaughan, can you see my screen that I'm sharing? Because I've had some technical glitches. Okay, just wanted to make sure. All right. The other thing too, families, is that our water fountains remain shut off. That means when I say water fountains are shut off, that means that where they get water with their mouth is shut off. Again, because of COVID and now with this whole monkeypox outbreak, we want to make sure we keep kids safe at all times. We ask that your child brings in a refillable water bottle. And in addition to that, there's other processes. When kids come into the classrooms, they're going to come in, they're going to wipe their desks. We're going to have sanitizing sessions throughout. We encourage kids to wash their hands as often as possible, just for these precautions. So, familias, algo que tienen que saber es que nuestras fuentes de agua, solamente la parte donde agarran agua por su boca, están apagadas. Pero sí pueden traer su botella que se puede rellenar, que pueden poner agua reciclable para agarrar agua. Y es una foto de cómo son los stations. También vamos a tener, cuando los alumnos entren a la clase, van a seguir limpiando su escritorio con los wipes, en las toallas antibacteriales. Y queremos que los niños se laven las manos con frecuencia. También, como les digo, no sabemos si esto va a seguir por mucho, pero como todo lo que está pasando ahorita, queremos mantener a sus hijos sanos y salvos con todo lo que está pasando, ¿ok? All right. All right, go ahead, Mr. Vaughan, and I think you're first, and then we'll have Ms. Otero do it in Spanish.
So another quick reminder about masks. We still are going to require masks when students are outside, even when they're playing sports, as much as they can. If they need to take it off for a second to catch their breath when they're away from people, that's okay. But for the most part, we're going to ask our students to be wearing their masks outside as well during lunch.
Otro recordatorio del uso de mascarillas es que vamos a requerir o recomendar muy altamente que los niños usen sus mascarillas estando afuera durante almuerzo, ya que normalmente se juntan en grupos y para hablar o socializar, y aunque estén afuera, no hay espacio para una distancia seguro. Claro que pueden quitar la mascarilla para comer, o si necesitan bajar un poquito para respirar si están jugando, pero por lo tanto cuando están afuera tienen que también siempre tener la mascarilla.
Muchas gracias. Thank you so much. Again, families, if you're unable to see our screen, let us know. I know Ms. Otero and Mr. Vaughan can see it, but Zoom has been a little funky today. So let us know if you're not able to see the screen. Por favor, díganos si no pueden ver la información que estamos presentando. Okay. So,
buenos días. Buenos días.
Sí, buenos días.
Nos movieron para el otro grupo, si nos pudiera dar un breve mensaje, porque nos perdimos estos momentos.
Solamente se mudaron en el otro cuarto, señora, si ya estuvieron en la junta ayer. ¿Estuvo en la junta ayer?
No, no estuvimos. Hubo varias compañeras madres que estamos regresando ahorita y nos perdimos estos segundos de esta orientación con ustedes.
Ay, disculpe, señora, gracias por decirnos eso y disculpe mi comunicación. Hacer la cita, había dicho que se esperaran hasta el final, pero no hay problema. Puedo dar un resumen rápido de lo que acabo de decir. Sí, no, cómo no, señora. Un poquito, lo voy a quedar aquí porque es la verdad, si es una familia que está regresando a la escuela, es casi igual lo que estamos siguiendo, ¿ok? Primeramente, la seguridad y la salud de sus hijos es lo más importante. Estamos pidiendo todavía que los alumnos se tengan máscara. Estamos recomendando una máscara, a surgical mask, porque es la que protege un poquito más, que lo usen dentro del edificio. Es mandatorio. Cuando están dentro del edificio, cuando están en el pasillo, cuando están en el baño, obviamente, que se tengan la máscara. Ahora, también estamos recomendando que también aún vamos a seguir con las fuentes de agua apagadas, especialmente donde están tomando agua con su boca, ¿verdad? Pueden traer su botella de agua para que se rellene, muy importante. Y vamos a continuar asegurar que tenemos diferentes estaciones en la escuela donde pueden agarrar este antibacterial. También los alumnos van a seguir limpiando sus escritorios cuando están entrando al salón. Acerca de las máscaras afuera, es recomendable, recomendamos que lo hagan, ¿verdad? Y que se lo pongan cuando, obviamente se lo quitan cuando están comiendo, pero estamos pidiendo muy recomendado que se lo sigan puestos porque sabemos si están cercas, obviamente se pueden enfermar y ahorita estamos viendo lo de COVID y también lo de la viruela nueva que estamos escuchando en las noticias. So families, again, I apologize if you were in the other room. I'm going to repeat just quickly what was presented. We went over our COVID safety protocols. To start, we are asking that all students wear masks when they're in the building, and that's in the building, in the classroom, in the hallway, in the bathroom. As far as outside, we highly recommend that they wear it outside and only take off their mask when they are eating lunch, just because they're still, close to each other, they're talking and stuff like that. We will continue to have our water fountains shut off. We ask that your child bring a reusable, refillable water bottle or containered, bottle really, because I don't want them to drop their water, to go ahead and get that, so they can fill out their water bottle. Throughout the school, families, we have different sanitizer stations. We encourage kids to continue to wash their hands as well, to make sure that they're safe. We also, like I said, they'll continue to clean their desks when they come into the classroom to make sure that they're safe. Okay, familias. So, ahora, ¿qué va a pasar en la mañana si hay un alumno que no pasa el screening de COVID? Sea porque fue en contacto con alguien que tenía un examen de COVID, que te estaba positivo para COVID, o quizás porque tienen síntomas. Ahora, si su hijo o hija pasa eso, inmediatamente nosotros les vamos a dar un examen de COVID para ver si está positivo o positiva. En ese caso, si la madre o padre está allí, obviamente se lo van a llevar a casa. Si no, vamos a poner al alumno en el salón de aislamiento supervisado y les vamos a llamar a los padres para que los recojan y empiecen su periodo de aislación. Ahora, si el alumno es negativo y los síntomas son mejores, van a regresar a clase. Pero si el alumno es negativo y continúa a tener síntomas, los vamos a mandar a casa. Again, families, we still have to be careful. We're still going to be screening, but if a student fails the screening because they were a close contact for COVID or because they're showing symptoms, first and foremost, we're going to give them a rapid test to just be sure. The second thing is if they are positive and the family or the parent is still there, we're going to make sure that they go home. If not, they'll be in the isolation room, supervised, obviously. And we'd be calling families, parents, and then whoever's on the emergency card. Also, if a student is negative and their symptoms are better, they'll go to class. But if the student is negative and their symptoms, we monitor their symptoms and they're worse, we will also be calling to send the child home. Okay. All right. So COVID testing updates. The first day of school, families, we are going to test all students. We're still hashing out some details, and we will update you through Remind, through social media, if this changes. But we want to make sure that everyone gets COVID tested, okay? Our doors are going to open at 7:20 the first day of school to allow us to test students, and we're going to be COVID testing students after all major vacations. So for example, right now is summer break, and then when we have like Thanksgiving break and the kids come back, they're going to get tested. When we come back from Christmas break, we're going to test them like that. However, we at this point, families, are following CDC, LUSD, and Green Dot recommendations. They are not requiring us to test students every week, okay? We are only going to be testing students if they show symptoms, and or if they say that they've been a close contact. In addition to that, families, at this point, although we highly recommend the COVID vaccination, it is not a requirement. Okay, we highly recommend it. We also recommend that they get boosted, but again, if they're not, that's not something that the district is asking for. Okay. Ahora, familias, acerca de los exámenes de COVID. El primer día de la escuela queremos darles el examen de COVID a todos los niños. Todavía vamos a tener más detalles con eso. Así es que si hay algo que cambia, les vamos a mandar correo electrónico, les vamos a mandar un remind, vamos a ponerlo en Instagram y diferentes maneras de comunicarnos. Pero el primer día de la escuela vamos a abrir a las 7:20 de la mañana y esto es para darle el examen a los niños. Y luego también vamos a estar dando el examen de COVID después de todas las vacaciones grandes, por ejemplo, después de Thanksgiving break, de Navidad y todo eso. Pero ahora nosotros estamos siguiendo, como siempre lo hemos hecho, lo que nos recomienda el Departamento de Salud, el Distrito de Los Ángeles y Green Dot. Ahorita no están dando los exámenes a todos los niños cada semana, ni nosotros también lo vamos a hacer, pero lo que sí vamos a hacer es si un alumno nos dice que ha sido en contacto con alguien que estuvieron positivos o si tiene síntomas, les vamos a dar el examen de COVID. También familias, en este punto no es requisito tener la vacuna de COVID, pero sí estamos recomendándolo, especialmente si ya lo agarraron los niños y también se agarran el booster. Pero ahorita igual estamos siguiendo lo que nos está pidiendo el Distrito de Los Ángeles y el Departamento de Salud. No están pidiendo la vacuna en las escuelas. Okay. All right. Let me skip over that. We talked about the first day of school already. Familias, este primer día de la escuela empieza técnicamente empieza a las 8:10 de la mañana. El día acaba a las 8:30. So families, again, first day of school is August 15th. Doors open at 7:20. School starts at 8:10. The day ends at 3:30. Okay. Ahora vamos a hablar de la póliza de uniforme recordatorio y si hay un poco de cambio. Mr. Vaughan, do you want to go ahead and start off with letting families know where our uniform vendor is, and then we'll have Ms. Otero do it in Spanish.
I got it, Ms. Ybarra, thank you. Families, our uniforms are distributed or sold by Easy Pro. We do not sell school uniforms here on campus. If you need to purchase a uniform, we recommend that you either take a picture, take a screenshot, or write this information down so that you can contact them. You can also go to their website. You can go to their location in person, or you can contact them through their website and the phone numbers on the screen as well. And through them, you can purchase our official AEO school polo, which is the only polo our students can wear. And if you would like, it's optional. You can also purchase a jacket, or you can purchase your own jacket outside. But the one thing that you do have to purchase from them is the official AEO blue polo shirt with the logo on it. Familias, este es nuestro vendedor de los uniformes escolares. No vendemos los uniformes aquí en la escuela. Aquí está la dirección si gustan ir en persona a la tienda. También está el número de teléfono y la dirección de su página de web. Lo que sí tienen que comprar son los polos que cuestan $17. Sorry, the polos are $17. That's on the screen. Y porque los niños solamente pueden usar el polo oficial de la escuela con el logo oficial de la escuela, es opcional comprar la chamarra que está aquí en esta foto. También los niños pueden usar chamarras negras y que pueden comprar aparte, pero sí la camisa de la escuela es un requisito.
Thank you so much, Ms. Otero. Okay. Do you want to take English and I take Spanish, Miss?
I can do the slide.
Okay, awesome.
As far as our uniform policy is concerned, students, as I mentioned before, are only allowed to wear the official AEO blue polo shirt. Once our 8th grade shirts come out and are released, our 8th graders will have the option to wear their 8th grade shirts. And we will give you more information about that once they get their shirts. But the only shirt students can wear is the one in the picture with our official school logo. Hats or caps are never allowed on campus. Please do not send your students to school with hats or caps. They can't wear them outside either. We don't allow anything that's covering their head in campus. And you may know this already, but we just want to remind you that now we have the option that students can either wear black or khaki pants. So it is your choice. They can wear both, either or. And they can also wear shorts or skirts as long as they're an appropriate length. Leggings are not allowed, so students should not wear any type of tights or leggings, and they should not wear sweatpants. So last year we saw that some students were wearing black sweatpants. That's not allowed, and we will ask them to change and we will have to call home. So please make sure that the pants, the black pants or khaki pants are pants, and black pants can be solid black jeans as long as they're not stonewashed. So we don't want anything that's stonewashed that has the gray in it. Pants should also not have any tears in them, no ripped jeans, no ripped pants of any kind, including non-uniform days, so dress down days, no jeans with tears in them. Para el uniforme, los estudiantes solo pueden usar el polo oficial de la escuela con el logo oficial de la escuela. No permitimos gorras en ningún momento en la escuela, ni siquiera afuera. No permitimos que los niños tapen la cabeza cuando están en la escuela con capuchas o gorras. Los pantalones tienen la opción, pueden usar pantalón negro o pantalón color khaki, ¿ok? Pero deben ser material de pantalón, no pueden ser pantalones deportivos. Y también pueden usar cuando hace calor, claro, pueden usar pantalón corto y faldas, pero tiene que ser de un largo apropiado, no muy corto, como a 2 pulgadas de la rodilla más o menos. También los pantalones no deben tener roturas, incluso los días de vestuario libre. Si usan pantalón de mezclilla en un día de vestuario libre, no pueden ser pantalones con roturas de ningún tipo, aunque tengan mallas por debajo. Tampoco permitimos mallas negras en vez de pantalón negro. Y creo que eso es todo del uniforme.
Sí, es todo. There was a comment like, why can't we wear sweats? So Astros, we are getting you ready for high school. We're getting you ready for your life. We're getting you ready for college, for work. And so when you work, my loves, depending on what you do, most jobs, they're not going to have you like, yeah, come in sweats and casual. They're not going to do that. So we want to make sure like you're like college ready from beginning. It's a uniform, my loves. And so you can wear sweats on dress down days, I suppose. But do you really want to wear sweats when it's 99 degrees outside? Hace un calor, ¿por qué quieren sweats? Voy a estar sudando, se me van a morir mis niños. Familias, esta había una pregunta que por qué no sweats. Francamente, que estamos preparando a los niños para muchas cosas, no solamente la preparatoria, para el colegio, para la vida, para trabajos. Cuando alguien tiene un trabajo, un oficio, es muy raro que no van a irse en sweats porque tienen que saber, quiero que se vean profesionales. I want you to stand out like, oh, look at those AEO kids. Look at how professional and college going they look. So, pues sí pueden usar los sweats durante el vestuario libre, pero francamente, como les digo, hace mucho calor. Los sweats como que van a estar sudando, especialmente desde agosto hasta como octubre, hace mucho calor. So that's to answer your question, loves. All right. Ahora esto es algo diferente y voy a empezar with apologizing, okay? I recognize that this change in policy is different. And even though we announced it on social media about 2 or 3 weeks ago, a month and a half or 2 months before school, I recognize that not everybody got this message. So primeramente les quiero decir que sí sería mejor que hubiera haber dado esta información mucho más antes, aunque lo puse hace unas 2 o 3 semanas de la capucha. Voy a intentar hacerlo mejor para comunicar un poco más con más frecuencia y temprano, ¿verdad? So families, first and foremost, this is something new, 8th graders. So 8th graders that are joining us, I'm letting you know now, my loves. You will get different privileges, but this is something that has to happen, okay? You know that the sweater, the jacket has to be solid black. You can have either, it's not mandatory that you have the AEO logo, but you can. And if it does have some type of design on it, it can't be bigger than an index card. That hasn't changed. Hoodies have never been allowed in our building. However, hoodies were a big issue at our school. We were constantly telling kids, take off your hoodie, take off your hoodie, take off your hoodie. We were constantly noticing that when they did have their hoodies, they actually had their AirPods inside and were listening to music. So students would have their AirPods on, and even though their phone was in their backpack, they were still listening to music and not listening to the teacher. So we've never allowed, they weren't supposed to have hoodies at all. It says it in our policy, but we just want to avoid that, loves. We want to be able to support you. It's not a battle that we want to have. So this year, families, we are not allowing students to enter the building with a sweater or that has a hoodie, okay, once they enter the building. Now, I recognize that there's a lot of families that perhaps bought things in years past. You're 8th grade, so you've been with us for a few years. So we will grandfather and honor those jackets only if they have the AEO emblem. They'll be allowed to wear it this year, but again, the student can have the hoodie on, okay? Now, the question that might come up is, but miss, what if it's cold in the morning? Can I have the hood on outside? Again, from like August to September and October, we're looking at 80 to 90 degree weather. I suppose you can put on your hoodie. When it gets super cold, Astros, we actually open up the NPR and kids come in. So familias, but once you come into before you hit those glass doors, and if we see you, we're going to be like, step aside, like, you got to take your hoodie off. We're going to take it. That's what's going to happen. Now, familias, yo reconozco que esta es una póliza nueva. Pero no, aquí en EO estamos aquí para apoyar. Para las familias que han estado con nosotros, no somos escuela perfecta. Hacemos errores. Por ejemplo, yo hice muchos errores con Zoom ahora, pero tratamos de hacer mejor y tratamos de apoyar. Así es que familias, como es un cambio y posiblemente hay familias que ya compraron los suéteres, las sudaderas que tenían la capucha y quizás no las puedan regresar o no tienen habilidad de agarrar una que no tenga capucha, por favor, de todo corazón, llámenos, mándenos un mensaje. Nosotros les vamos a dar un suéter que no tenga capucha a su hijo, porque no queremos que se estresen. Al contrario, queremos que vengan sus hijos a la escuela contentos que ustedes se sienten apoyados y es algo que vamos a hacer. Actually, Ms. Otero and Mr. Vaughan, can you put our emails in the chat? That way, if they want to email us privately, they can do that. Vamos a poner los correos electrónicos de los administradores para las familias que posiblemente necesitan apoyo para agarrar la suerte de capucha. Yeah, so like to answer your question, families, again, this is a policy that's new. This is a policy that we don't want you to stress out about it. And we recognize that we could have said it earlier, and I sincerely apologize for that. But we're going to support. I don't want you to stress out about it. You know, if you are unable to get a hoodie, to get a sweater that you know, maybe you already bought it, you lost the receipt, they're not taking returns, whatever, and you're maybe in a situation where you just can't, right? You might have, whatever the situation is, we're not going to ask questions. If you need a sweater that doesn't have a hood, please let us know, message us, you can email us, you can even send us, you know, a direct message, and we'll make sure to have a crew neck sweater or some type, you know, of sweaters for your child, so that you know, you don't have to worry about that. Okay. Now, yes, technically speaking, Natalie, I suppose, my love, if you want to have your hoodie on outside and then put it in your backpack, great. But like, you're already gonna have a lot of stuff in your backpack, so why not just have a crew neck? You can, but that might be something that might not fit in your backpack. Once you have your sweater in your backpack, it might not fit. I understand when it gets cold, I get it. But I really highly recommend, families, that we are not going to have hoodies inside the building, right? You can't even put it on after school. Okay, so the uniform policy, it doesn't mean, okay, now that I'm in Woodcraft Rangers, let me put on my hoodie. No, Woodcraft Rangers is gonna, once the school year starts, they're gonna have the same policy. Okay, I hope that answers your question or your comment. All right. Electronics policy. Mr. Vaughan, you want to go ahead and take this one, and then Ms. Otero, if you can take the Spanish version.
Yeah, so for our returning students, our electronics policy is almost the same as last year. But for our new 8th graders, definitely pay attention to some of the things that are important that will help you be successful this year. So cell phones are still not allowed at school, but we're now including AirPods as well. So last year you were able to wear your AirPods and use them in class, but now we're going to ask that you don't bring the AirPods to school. We'll be providing you with headphones in class if you need them for educational purposes, but cell phones and AirPods should be away. We should not see them anywhere during lunch, breakfast, or in the hallways. For your phone, it should be off. So make sure it's off when you enter the building. And if you need to use it or you need to call your parents, just let us know and come to the office. If your phone is taken away during the school day, you can pick it up after school the same day, 15 minutes after the bell. And that's really important because it gives us time to get all of their students out of the building, and then you can come to the office and ask for your phone. If it continually happens, we will be contacting parents just to see how we can different support your student so they're not using their phone all the time at school.
Thank you. And I just want to reiterate to our students that are here, our returning students, cell phones are not allowed in the morning. So in the morning, as soon as you enter the gate, when you're outside on the patio, you are not allowed to use your cell phone. And that's something we'll be reminding you about once school starts. But nuestra póliza de electrónicas no ha cambiado. Los celulares, no se permite el uso de celular en el plantel escolar. Cuando entran a la escuela, todos los celulares deben estar apagados, no simplemente silenciados, ya que cuando están silenciados todavía el teléfono está vibrando y los estudiantes reciben muchísimas notificaciones y constantemente está vibrando el teléfono y es una interrupción para ellos, ¿verdad? Es una distracción. Así que pedimos que los teléfonos estén apagados antes de entrar a la escuela. Si vemos o escuchamos un teléfono celular, lo vamos a confiscar y se le va a entregar al estudiante al final del día. Lo vamos a guardar en un lugar seguro aquí en la oficina y el estudiante lo puede recoger 15 minutos después de la campana. También algo nuevo de una nueva póliza, porque tuvimos muchos problemas el año pasado y con la tecnología constantemente está cambiando. Entonces nos dimos cuenta que los AirPods, ¿verdad? fueron un gran problema. Los AirPods para los padres son estos, ¿verdad? Los que no tienen alambre. Entonces, estos no se permiten en la escuela ya. Los niños son fáciles de esconder. Los niños lo tienen puestos en el oído y durante clase, en los pasillos, y no es aceptable. También es una distracción muy grande, ya que están escuchando música en vez de escuchar a los maestros, por ejemplo. Así que por favor no traigan los AirPods, los audífonos inalámbricos a la escuela. También los vamos a confiscar y se les entregará al final del día, 15 minutos después de la campana.
Muchas gracias. Thank you so much, Ms. Otero. And families, if your child needs not the AirPods, sorry, headphones for educational purposes, the teachers have them. So don't feel like you have to buy them if you're unable, like if they need them for educational purposes, teachers will give them to the child. If they have Read 180, we have those headphones there. So there really isn't a need to send them with that. You want to avoid that because there's really no need for that here. So familias, si los maestros están pidiendo los audífonos para propósitos de educación, nosotros se los vamos a dar. Los tenemos en el salón. Entonces, en realidad, nunca era necesidad comprar AirPods, ¿ok? Y la verdad los pierden, right? Muchos de los niños los perdieron. Había niños que nomás tenían uno. Y le decía, ay, mi vida, y el otro es que lo perdí. So it was funny because even some kids would lose them. They're expensive too. And then we have one, I'm like, you got to take that out. Where's the other one? I lost it. So there you go. You won't have to worry about losing it at school. All right. This one is very different too. Mr. Vaughan, I'll go ahead and have you do the English one, and then Ms. Otero, if you can take the Chromebook policy, this particular page, I'll take the next one.
Yeah, so for our Chromebook policy this year, we are happy to announce we're finally at the 2-to-1 ratio for students, which means all students will have a Chromebook at home for homework, and we'll have a separate Chromebook at school for you. So the main thing here is that you no longer should bring your Chromebook to school. One more time, students should no longer bring their Chromebook to school. They'll have another Chromebook at school that they can use for all the work that they need. If you have any questions, please contact the office and we'll help them understand that. If you are a new student, you will get a new Chromebook for your homework, and you'll also get a Chromebook when you're here on campus.
Estamos muy felices de poder anunciar que ahora tenemos suficientes computadoras para que cada estudiante tenga 2, ¿verdad? Eso significa que ya no tienen que traer sus computadoras a la escuela. Van a poder tener su computadora, una computadora escolar de la escuela en la casa y tienen también una aquí en la escuela que van a poder usar todos los días. Ya no tienen que cargar su computadora todos los días para la escuela y luego llevarla para la casa para la tarea, etcétera. Así que pedimos que por favor a los niños ya no traigan su computadora a la escuela. La computadora que tienen, que se les prestó de la escuela, esa computadora se puede quedar en la casa siempre y cuando es un estudiante de AEO y no cambia de escuelas. Van a tener esa computadora en la casa para hacer tareas y estudiar. Y van a tener otra aquí en la escuela que pueden usar en sus clases. Así que eso es un cambio y algo muy bueno que estamos muy felices de anunciar.
Y familias, no sé si se acuerdan, muchas de las veces las mochilas de los niños están bien pesados, ¿verdad? Ay, mis bebés están, they're like, literally, I was like, what do you have in there? Something that's positive, la verdad, evitamos que se quebren, evitamos que se caigan y todo eso. So I'm really happy about that we're finally at that point. A couple of reminders, Astros, 8th graders, and families. The Chromebooks are on loan for educational purposes, okay? And technically, not technically, they are the school property. So Astros, students and families, make sure that your child's Chromebook is free of, I don't think I have one here in an extra one in my office, but doesn't have any stickers. Because remember, when at the end of 8th grade, they're gonna have to turn in their Chromebooks. If the Chromebook is damaged, if the Chromebook is so dirty that they can't use it, parents will be charged for the damages, okay? So familias, les decimos ahorita, Un recordatorio para los hijos que los Chromebooks son propiedad de la escuela y son para propósitos educativos. Es propiedad de la escuela. Queremos asegurar que no tengan ninguna calcomanías y que estén limpios, porque recuerden que al final del 8 grado van a entregar el Chromebook, como ya saben, a otra escuela, y los padres les vamos a cobrar desafortunadamente a los padres si el Chromebook tiene daños, si perdieron el charger, todo eso, ¿verdad? Entonces, queremos asegurar que sean nuestros alumnos responsables por las cosas y es mejor decirlos de eso con anticipación. Yeah, I think it's a good thing too, Estrella. Like, you don't have to carry around that Chromebook. Like, you can bring in other things, your folder, your notebooks, all those things. So it's a good thing. But just a reminder about this, okay? Okay. Esto es algo muy grande, familias, un recordatorio. Bullying es algo que desafortunadamente existe en el mundo, pero la diferencia aquí en AEO es que hacemos algo si sabemos qué está pasando, ¿verdad? Son 4 reglas muy simples: no hacer bullying a otros, ayudar a alumnos que han sido víctimas de bullying, incluir alumnos que se están sentando solos, y si el alumno sabe que es víctima de bullying, hablar con un adulto en la casa o en la escuela para saber hacer algo. Nosotros somos parte de una organización que se llama OVS, que es un grupo nacional de prevención de bullying, y nuestros maestros agarran entrenamiento para poder apoyar a los alumnos. So families, it's impossible for me to say that bullying doesn't exist. Unfortunately, it does, but the difference at AEO is that when we find out about it and we're connected with our students and we see something going on, we do something. However, we do have 4 very simple and, rules about bullying. We are also part of an organization called OVS, where our teachers get training to support students to prevent bullying and support students if they've been victims of bullying. So the 4 rules are very simple. We will not bully others. We will try to help students who are being bullied. We will include students who are left out. And then lastly, if we know that someone is being bullied, we will speak to an adult at school and at home. Now, the next one, I need your help. Necesito su ayuda. Families, social media, el Instagram, ni el Facebook, no, porque dicen que eso es para viejos. They say that Facebook is for old people. I don't know. That's what they say. I have Facebook, but I'm old. We've had so many issues at our school that start on social media and end up being at our school. Hemos tenido problemas en nuestra escuela porque las cosas empiezan en las redes sociales y luego impacta a los niños aquí en la escuela. The reality is, families, is that we do not own or have control over Instagram, right? And so what we do when we have found out that there's bullying online, let's just say it's a page or a picture. That's another reason why kids can't have their phones, but yet they still find a way to take pictures because they sneak it out, okay? We had a situation last year where there were pages that were not AEO pages, where kids were putting inappropriate things. Families would take screenshots. We reach out to Instagram. We even called the cops a couple of times. But again, on Instagram, we have no idea knowing who is the one that did the page. So we ask for your help. And Astro, same thing. When you're in 8th grade, if you're involved in any type of bullying, whether it's in person or online, you're going to lose out on privileges, my loves. And I don't want you to lose out. I want you to have a good year, okay? Families, please speak to your child about the responsibility of having social media. Sometimes they have different accounts. Sometimes they have these text messages that are going back and forth that are so inappropriate. And sometimes the kids add people that they don't even know. They have like 500 friends. Like, do you really know 500 people? I encourage families, go through your child's social media. You should have your child's code to their phone, because I highly doubt they pay for it, right? Maybe there is an Astro that pays for it. I don't know. If you're an Astro that pays for it, that's awesome, because they're expensive, okay? So families, please talk to your child about this. We don't want your child to have stress about social media issues. So familias, no les voy a mentir. Hemos tenido situaciones en nuestra escuela del bullying que empieza en las redes sociales. Hemos tenido una situación donde hay páginas que no están autorizadas de AEO, donde ponen fotos inapropiadas, los niños lo hacen, y no tenemos manera de saber quién. Nosotros seguimos ponemos cartas en el asunto, nos contactamos con Instagram, a veces hasta hemos llamado a la policía, pero la realidad es que no hay manera de saber en realidad quién es el que hizo la página, porque no controlamos Instagram, ni Facebook, ni Snapchat, ¿verdad? Entonces les pedimos de todo corazón, por favor, hablen con sus hijos de la responsabilidad de tener la red social. Hablen con ellos de esas conversaciones que están teniendo, ¿verdad? Porque muchas de las veces empiezan en la red y acaban en la escuela. Y francamente, familias, si su hijo o hija es parte de hacer bullying en la red social e impacta a alguien aquí en la escuela, van a perder privilegios y no quiero que eso pase. Quiero que sean parte de todas las celebraciones que vamos a tener, okay? All right. Mr. Vaughan, do you want to go ahead and take the outside food and beverage?
Yeah, another just refresher for our students, as this is the same as last year. We only allow water on campus, and that's to really promote a healthy lifestyle for our students. So some of the things that we don't allow our students to bring are sugary drinks, really large bags of chips, any iced coffee in the morning, hot coffees, anything from Starbucks, and then also fast food. So that also means during lunch, they should not be receiving fast food from people outside. But the things we would most commonly see would be like large iced teas or large bags of chips. And we just wanted to reiterate to our students before the start of the year that those are not allowed on campus. If a student brings a small bag of chips for themselves, that's okay, but not the really large bag ones that they're sharing with everybody. If you're ever worried or just wondering, like, should I bring this? Is this okay? If you ask one of us, we're going to talk to you about it and help you understand. So please ask us those questions during the year if you're wondering if you can bring something to school.
Para promover un estilo de vida saludable, solo permitimos que los niños traigan agua para tomar en la escuela. No permitimos bebidas con mucho azúcar, sodas, bebidas de energía. No permitimos que los estudiantes traigan eso para tomar. Recomendamos nada más que traigan su agua, que traigan su botella para rellenar con agua, para que tomen agua durante todo el día. Es muy importante también esa botella para rellenar de agua, ¿ok? Porque las fuentes están apagadas, pero solo pueden rellenar sus botellas. También no permitimos bolsas grandes de papitas, las bolsas grandes para compartir. Así que si traen su almuerzo, su emparedado, pueden traer una bolsa pequeña individual de papitas, pero no la bolsa grande que para compartir, porque, bueno, hay muchos problemas con eso, como se pueden imaginar. También no permitimos la comida rápida, no permitimos la entrega de comida rápida. Nadie les puede traer McDonald's o Jack in the Box y dejar eso para ellos para almorzar. Aquí damos comida gratis todos los días. Si los niños no traen su almuerzo, hay desayuno y almuerzo aquí en la escuela que es gratis para todos los estudiantes.
And families, I'm going to tell you what I saw last year with some of our 7th graders and now 8th graders. They'd bring bags of chips con COVID, todos metiendo la mano, imagínense, sin lavarse la mano, todos comiendo de la, ¿verdad, señora Nava? Ya le vi la cara, esa era mi cara todos los días debajo de mi máscara. Y decía, santo Dios, oh my God.
Ybarra, y chupándose los dedos y metiendo las manos en la bolsa, chupando todos los dedos y ya.
Families, seriously, okay? I'm going to tell you what I saw last year. They would have bags of chips and I would take it and they'd give it, but I bought it. Did you really buy it? Does your mom know that you bought a big bag of chips? They would put their hands in the chips. They would eat the chips, not wash their hands, lick their fingers. And I'm just like, oh my God, I'm dying. I'm dying right now. Let's not do that, my loves. You know, it's not okay. La otra cosa también, the big, like, las botellas de soda del gas station. Iban y se compraban y se enojaban cuando decíamos que se los tiraran. O hasta los Arizona teas, los tés esos grandes, si se notan cuánto azúcar tienen mucho azúcar. Ningún alumno en la escuela secundaria necesita azúcar así. They already have energy. Families, they would bring like the big old like gobs from the gas station or like the Arizona teas. They have a lot of sugar. And let me tell you, there is not one middle schooler that needs sugar because they already have energy. They don't need more of it, right? So just think, if you can help us with that, families, we'd greatly appreciate it. All right, school hours haven't changed. School starts at 8:10. It is the same schedule. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, school ends at 3:30, Wednesdays and Fridays at 2:10. We're going to be putting this onto our social media accounts. We're going to also have copies available when you do your document drop-off, okay? So, familias, el horario de la escuela no ha cambiado. La escuela empieza a las 8:10. El lunes, martes, jueves acaba a las 3:30 y el miércoles y viernes acaba a las 2:10. Eso no ha cambiado. Vamos a poner esto en nuestras redes sociales y también vamos a tener copias disponibles para ustedes cuando traigan su carta de emergencia. ¿Ok? Igual, la otra cosa que se me olvidó decir es que también pueden traer a sus hijos lo más temprano. El primer día de la escuela va a ser 7:20. Pero pueden dejarlos empezando a las 7:30. Vamos a tener desayuno disponible y también tenemos programas después de escuela que les voy a compartir en un momento. So families, again, reminder, first day of school, you can drop off your child as early as 7:20. However, on regular days it's 7:30. We start serving breakfast at that time, and we also have an after school program, okay? Now, this is an after school program. It's actually not 6. The kids can be here until 6:30. The site coordinator is Ms. Cortez. This is the email that you can reach out to. We're also going to have applications available for you during the document drop-off if you want to make sure that your child is in the after-school program this year. So, familias, tenemos un programa de escuela a lo cual que no se acaba a las 6, se acaba a las 6:30. It is gratis. It is free, families. And so our site coordinator is Ms. Cortez. Her email is there. We're also going to have applications available for you if you want to go ahead and enroll your child in the after-school program. All right. First day of school. What do you bring, 8th graders? I'm going to actually let Ms. Otero or Mr. Vaughan take this one. Astros, don't feel like you need to go all crazy and buy all kinds of things. It's actually very simple. But go ahead, Ms. Otero or Mr. Vaughan, whoever wants to go first.
Yeah, so we want the first day of school to be stress-free for all of our students and families. And you may have already went shopping for a lot of these things, but we wanted to keep the list very simple for everyone. So first, make sure you bring a mask and maybe even bring a backup mask in your backpack. Make sure you have a refillable water bottle. That one's really important. It is going to be hot. It's already hot, and we don't have water fountains. So bring a refillable water bottle. Number 3, bring your own antibacterial sanitizer. That is just to make sure that no matter what, that your hands are clean. Of course, you want a backpack and then a couple things, just basic school supplies, pencils, a 3-ring binder, paper, and then if you want, you can have pens as well. And then most importantly, a school uniform. So bring the correct AEL school uniform on the first day of school.
El primer día de la escuela en su mochila, porque deben traer una mochila, en su mochila deben traer, bueno, su mascarilla, bueno, debe estar puesto, ¿no? Al entrar. Tienen que tener una mascarilla para el primer día de la escuela. Deben tener una botella que pueden echar agua, una botella reusable. Eso déjenlo en la mochila, muchachos, porque siempre llegan y, ay, hay un vaso, me regalan un vaso, no tenemos vasos, no tenemos botellas, así que es muy importante que traigan su botella rellenable para que tomen agua. Que es importante que traigan un gel antibacterial para uso personal en su mochila para poder usar en sus manos, para limpiar sus manos. También lápices, bolígrafos y papel. ¿Okay? No tienen que comprar muchas cosas para el primer día porque cada maestro les va a dar una lista y ya van a tener tiempo de comprar las cosas que necesitan para todas sus clases. Pero el primer día lo que necesitan es su mascarilla, su mochila, lápices, bolígrafos, papel, su uniforme y la botella reusable.
Thank you so much for that. Okay, schedules, my loves. You will get your schedule the first day of school. Okay, so what's going to happen is when you come in, the first thing you're going to do is take your COVID test. You'll get a wristband. Then at the tables, we're going to have, everyone's going to advisory. The schedule is the same. You go to advisory Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. You go to advisory first. So you will have a new advisor. You go to the table where your last name is at, and then they'll let you know where you go for advisory. In advisory, that's where they're going to give you your schedule. Okay, there's going to be a lot of adults to help. We're actually going to be reaching out to a few 8th graders to help us in the first day of school, because we also have a lot of new babies that may not know where they're going, okay? So, familias, el primer día de la escuela, los alumnos primero van a obviamente agarrar su examen de COVID. Luego, una vez que hagan el examen de COVID, van a ir a las bancas azules, donde todas las advisorias va a ser por apellido. Van a ir a la mesa donde está su letra de su apellido y agarrar dónde es que está su advisoría. En advisorías donde van a agarrar sus schedules. Y les voy a decir esto. So families, I know some of you, because you're 8th graders, you're going to be on Power School and you're going to check to see like what your schedule is. It may change. So by end of this week, the schedules might be there, but don't count on it staying like that. So don't think like, oh, Miss Ybarra, but you said no. Wait until Monday, the first day of school, to get your final schedule, okay? All right. All right, families, we've talked a lot. I hope we answered your questions, but if we didn't, families, right now is a time, and I remind everyone, first of all, thank you for being here and taking time of your summer to be with us. I remind everyone to keep the questions, more general questions. If it's something specific about your child that you want to keep private, just let us know and we'll make sure to set up an appointment with you. So familias, primeramente, gracias por tomar parte de su día con nosotros. Hemos hablado bastante, tomar tiempo de su verano. Quiero recordarles que cuando hagan preguntas ahorita, que sean preguntas generales, si es algo más privado, más específicamente para su hijo o hija, por favor díganos personalmente y estamos más que disponibles para llamarles o responderlos por correo electrónico. So, Ms. Otero and Mr. Vaughan, are there any questions that came up?
No questions in the chat, Miss.
Okay. All right, let's see. Señora Carrillo, buenos días.
Sí.
Veo su mano
Ay,
físicamente.
discúlpeme,
Qué
no.
gusto verla.
Lo peinada que ando.
Ay, no, aquí estamos en familia. Dígame, ¿cómo me puedo ayudar?
Mi pregunta es acerca de la camisa de uniforme, que dice usted que los de 8 grados van a usarla más antes. Me encantaría agregar eso, pues mi comentario, que ojalá que lo tomara más de usarla si fuera desde el principio, para que disfrutaran de su camisa, ya que se nos van este año de su escuela. Entonces, ¿cuáles son las fechas en que tiene usted para usarlas ellos?
Sí, señora, gracias por su comentario y espero que esté bien. Voy a responder en español y luego voy a traducir en inglés. Entonces, estoy de acuerdo con usted, señora. Yo quiero celebrar a los niños de 8 grado porque queremos motivarlos y queremos celebrar los logros que han hecho. Lo que pasa, señora, es que los niños son los que diseñan la camisa. Entonces, lo que va a pasar la primera semana de la escuela, en la clase de visoría, vamos a anunciar la habilidad para los niños que quieren submitir el diseño de la camisa. Una vez que ya pase eso, entonces solo mandamos a la compañía que nos hace la camisa. El 22 de septiembre, señora, voy a tener más información sobre las fechas fijas cuando los niños pueden usar esa camisa, pero parte de eso es que también queremos que ellos se sientan que es su camisa, ¿verdad? Es por eso que tenemos esa competencia de arte para que ellos diseñen eso. So families, Mom was saying, you know, it'd be nice for them to have the shirt as soon as possible. She wanted to know the dates for the 8th grade shirt. And what I shared is, I agree. I think, you know, it's super important to motivate our students and to really celebrate all of the things that they're doing. However, the kids actually designed the shirt. So because of that, I can't have the shirt ready. The first week of school during advisory, we're going to announce the contest. They're going to submit the designs, the kids vote, and then from there, we send it to the vendor. They create it. On September 22nd, I will give you the exact date when you'll be able to start buying them and the exact cost. So familias, el 22 de septiembre, cuando tengamos la junta de 8 grado, es cuando les voy a dar el precio y la fecha cuando pueden empezar a comprar las camisas, porque es un proceso que queremos que los niños la diseñen. Los de 8 grado verán la misma. Sí, los de 8 grado tienen que usar el polo azul, pero algo extra especial es que pueden usar su camisa de 8 grados. So, por ejemplo, dice clase de 2023 y atrás dicen todos los nombres de los niños. O sea, es algo que les queremos dar esa habilidad siempre en cuando los grados y el comportamiento esté bien. So ese es un privilegio. So families, I do remind you that the shirt, for them to wear it, it's connected to grades and behavior. So it's not just like, hey, you're an 8th grader, wear the shirt. No, you're an 8th grader who has a solid GPA, is showing the astro character traits, and you earn the privilege. So we'll give you more information on September 22nd. Les vamos a dar más información del el 22 de septiembre acerca de la camisa. All right. Yo no puedo ver todas las manos. Ms. Otero, Mr. Vaughan, is there anyone with their hands raised?
No, there was a question in Spanish in the chat. I answered it, but just I want to repeat it in English just for our English speakers, our non-Spanish speakers. Someone asked if the students for the new computer policy, does that mean that students don't have to bring their computers starting the first day of school? And that is correct. Students do not or should not, students should not bring their computers starting and effective the very first day of school. And this is in Spanish in the chat already. But in case, you know what, in case somebody is not looking at the chat, we may have people driving. La pregunta en el chat decía que querían clarificar que si la póliza de computadoras empezaba desde el primer día de la escuela, y eso es correcto. Empezando desde el primer día de la escuela, los estudiantes no deben de traer su computadora ya a la escuela.
Something less to put in your backpack. It's not going to be that heavy. Algo menos que poner en esa mochila para que no esté tan pesado. And clean your backpacks, my love, because towards the end of the school year, I found like old wrappers and like candy at the bottom and like crumbs. And I almost took out like a dog. What is this? It's exciting. It's 8th grade, right? ¿Otras preguntas, familias? No? Okay. So ahora, familias, ya les di las fechas importantes. Voy a darles otra fecha importante. El viernes 5 de agosto, que es este viernes, van a tener oportunidad de entregar su carta de emergencia. Ese es el requisito. So if you're a new 8th grade family, there's other things that you have to drop off, and you'll get your new computer if you're a new family. Okay, you can make an appointment anytime from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. and it's for this Friday. Okay, it's by appointment only. Mr. Alvarado and Mr. Garcia will be helping families with that in a moment. So familias, otra vez, este viernes 5 de agosto va a ser el día de documentación que van a entregar su carta de emergencia. Si son familias nuevas, van a entregar otros documentos y les van a dar el Chromebook nuevo. Esto es por cita solamente. Sí, si usted ya tiene la cita, se puede salir. Muchas gracias por estar con nosotros, señora Alcocer. So es todo. En un momento, el señor García y Mr. Alvarado van a darles la cita, ¿ok? La otra cosa, familias, para familias que son nuevas o quizás han sido una familia que en los 3 años no han venido a la escuela, vamos a tener un tour este jueves, que es mañana, 4 de agosto a las 3 de la tarde, para cualquier familia que quiere venir con su alumno para hacer un tour de la escuela. Por favor, hagan cita con la escuela para eso. So families, this is another opportunity for you to see the school, especially if you're a new family or maybe you just haven't been on campus and you just want to tour the school. We do ask that you make an appointment as we have limited spots for the tour. This is going to be tomorrow at 3 p.m. The other thing, families, is that we are having back to school night on September 7th at 4 p.m. We're not sure if it's going to be on Zoom or in person. We're going to kind of monitor those COVID cases. Excuse me. And you'll be able to meet your child's, your child's teacher and know a little bit about the projects they're going to be working on. El 7 de septiembre es regreso a la escuela, noche de regreso a la escuela. No estoy segura si va a ser por Zoom o en persona, donde van a saber los proyectos que están haciendo los niños, van a conocer a los maestros, pero es el 7 de septiembre a las 4 de la tarde, ¿ok? Yeah, we're going to give you appointments in a moment. Y otra cosa que quiero anunciarme, nos da tanto orgullo de decir que este año estamos colaborando con Nike. Nike nos ha dado apoyo para tener un equipo de soccer, co-ed soccer, niños y niñas, empezando en septiembre. Entonces, si están interesados sus hijos o sus hijas en participar en este equipo de soccer, que es en colaboración con Nike, vamos a tener, van a poder asignar, they're going to be able to sign up el 19 de septiembre hasta el 23. So families, we're very, very proud to say that we are blessed to have a partnership with Nike this year, where we're going to have a co-ed soccer team. sponsored by Nike. That signups are going to be September 19th to the 23rd. Okay, so if you're interested in the Astros, keep your ears open, familias. Vamos a poner todo esto en las redes sociales, mandar mensajes. We will put it on social media, and we will also send messages about this. All right. Familias, no quiero que me digan esto. Si han estado con nosotros en 3 años y no nos siguen en el Instagram, no me digan eso. Háganlo ahora, okay, families. If you've been with us for 3 years and you don't follow us on social media, don't tell me. Do me a favor. Please, 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 please follow us on social media. We put a lot of different information there, okay? And the other thing to Astros, make sure that when you send us messages on this, remember that it's actually a school site. So it's I, myself, Mr. Garcia are both people that actually monitor the site, okay? So keep that in mind. And then again, families, I do see a message. Si están interesados en el programa después de escuela, vamos a tener formas cuando traigan sus documentos. So van a poder tenerlos ahí. All right, let's see. Breakfast menu. We're going to be better about giving you the menu in advance. If you want to take a screenshot, we're also going to put this on social media. This is the menu for the month of August, okay? So este es el menú de almuerzo para el mes de agosto. Vamos a empezar a mandarlo con anticipación para que sepan exactamente lo que sus hijos van a estar comiendo. So we're going to send this family so that you know exactly what your child is eating. If they don't like what's there, they can bring a healthy lunch if they don't like what's there, okay? All right. And lastly, families, we still have spots in actually 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. I think we just have 1 spot in 8th grade left. So if you know of any family that's interested in a school that's not perfect, but tries their best and loves their kids very much, please talk to them about AEO. Familias, aún tenemos este espacio para los de 6, 7 y 8 grado. Creo que tenemos un espacio en 8 grado. Por favor, háblenles de Ánimo en Ochoa. No somos perfectos, pero intentamos ser lo mejor que podamos para sus hijos. Díganles que vengan a nuestra escuela. All right, families. Muchas gracias por estar aquí con nosotros. Thank you so much for being here. We're excited to be part of this 8th grade journey with all of you. At this time, en este momento, voy a dejar que el señor Alvarado los ayude con sus citas. So at this time, I'm going to let Mr. Alvarado help you with your appointments. Have a beautiful day, Astros. Familias, gracias por estar con nosotros. Y si Dios quiere, nos vemos muy pronto. God willing, we'll see each other very soon. Take care. Go right ahead, Mr. Alvarado.